recording. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm recording now.
I am also recording. Fuck. How's the planning, Doc? Anything to fill out there?
It's pretty light. Assuming that most of the content's going to come from our sensational riffs. Big ol' riffs.
Yep.
Just strumming along on our guitar riffs.
There was more I could have thrown in here, but truthfully, I wanted to give Parasite as much breathing room as possible.
That is fair and respectable.
Like,
I truly commend you, sir.
I am down to go beat for beat everything that happened in that movie.
You're just reading off a script. Welcome to the Voluntary Viewing podcast. On this week, we read the entire script of Parasite.
Why watch a movie when you can hear a movie being told over the airwaves with our immaculate voices?
Open, indoors, sub-basement, daytime. A family sits around the table.
Ryan, we are recording.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
I'm also drinking water.
You gotta hydrate
Ooh.
after being in the desert for several days.
Or just that my dinner consisted of Tostitos and salsa.
That's not a dinner.
That is much less food than a DiGiorno pizza.
It is, but I did have lunch today.
Good for you.
What if he said no, it wasn't? What if he ate the equivalent to a DiGiorno pizza of Tostitos and salsa?
I mean, I did probably eat like a third of the bag. I don't know how much that is.
Family size or
calorie-wise.
regular?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe in between.
Oh, okay, I get it.
The medium, bigger than the tiny bag, but not the like full blown crazy Costco.
Like the
bag.
value bag, yeah.
So the family size, not the party size.
Yeah, is the party size bigger? Yeah, than family size.
Okay.
Like a third of that, and then like half of the smaller tub of salsa. You know.
When you say salsa, is it also Tostino's brand salsa, or?
Yeah, I eat the Tostitos salsa.
Okay.
Wait, Lucas, did you just say Tostinos?
He did.
I'm sorry.
But that's fine. I wasn't gonna bring it up.
I'm gonna.
Because
Tostinos is pizza.
No, that's Totino's. Oh, Andrew got owned.
Now I'm outed as well.
Now you're both grammatically stupid.
Ryan's the last man standing.
The one that
Can't
didn't
wait.
want to correct anyone, but got dragged into this for one last job.
I can't wait for Ryan to make a mistake that we pounce on.
No such thing. I never will. For the rest of this podcast, I'm going to be super guarded about every single word that comes out of my mouth because there's a chance that it is scrutinized.
I will, for the rest of the podcast, scrutinized. Fuck!
Ah, shit. Fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
And this podcast, in which none of us will make any more errors, is episode 85 of the Voluntary Viewing podcast. Today on the podcast, we have the greatest high roller in Vegas, a man so good at gambling that he doesn't feel anything anymore unless his life is on the line, Andrew Clark.
Yeah! I came out of Vegas with so much money. Just lots and lots of the casino's money. I took them to the cleaners. I made Vegas my bitch. I came, I saw, I conquered, and I left. With nothing but empty bank vaults and shattered hearts. I definitely did not lose nearly the amount that I allotted to myself, which was more than I wanted to anyway. I definitely did not raise the goalposts in the middle of the trip to allow myself to lose more money. The one thing you're not supposed to do in Vegas. That didn't happen.
Then we have Andrew's greatest gambling rival, a man so good at Texas Hold'em that he is known far and wide by the nickname Texas Holden, Ryan Holtz.
Hey guys, I'm basically the oh fuck, what's his last name? The main character in Mindhunter.
Holden Ford.
Holden Ford. I'm basically the Holden Ford of poker, even though I didn't play it at all.
You're a total fuck up that nobody likes.
I'm a genius that is right all the time, even though people think that he's not.
But he's not.
He is.
He's right sometimes.
He was right every time.
You really are the Holden Ford. Holden Fords.
Andrew, what the fuck is wrong with you? Andrew, you gotta give it your all, man. I'm sick of this half-ass shit.
Can I be frank with you, Andrew? You're not putting in enough effort.
Oh, Andrew, what gave you the right to take those ripe cunts out of the world?
Oh, man.
And then, rounding out the podcast, you have the man who would have been in Vegas pulling all of those heists with you two. But the movie Now You See Me heisted my enthusiasm for heists. Lucas the writer.
You son of a bitch.
I was gonna make
I'm
that joke.
in.
I was gonna make that joke. I'm glad I didn't. It would have been cringy. I've already had too much parallel thinking today.
Do you want to get into that, or do you guys want to talk about your Vegas exploits?
What was our other parallel
one-off.
thinking?
Like our head of sales was recently slimed because why not? And me and a coworker had both had like some interactions with her, and our first thought was like the exact same thing. We were like, I wonder what she said immediately after getting off stage, and both of us at the same time did our impression of her and went like, oh fuck, someone get me a towel. Like literally verbatim, word for word, we said the exact same thing at the same time and looked at each other like, oh my god.
Ryan, you just made a best friend.
Scarily accurate. Yeah, did we just become best friends? Yup. But yeah, no, Vegas. That was a thing. We did it. We conquered.
Yeah.
I was under budget. I had budgeted a certain amount of money, and I didn't lose that much. Therefore, I was up.
Andrew, I know you're a roulette man. Ryan, what game did you hit up the most while you were there?
Probably more blackjack than roulette. Andrew's a roulette man? Andrew, you didn't play that much roulette.
That's because I lost a lot immediately. No, I played, like, roulette was pretty much the only game I played before you guys arrived.
Gotcha.
And I just never hit. And then also, like, we played some roulette together when you guys arrived.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
Yeah, I think all but, like, 30 of my losings, maybe all but 40 of my losings were on roulette. And the rest was on blackjack and slots.
Yeah, I did not play any slots. I was mostly, I would say primarily blackjack. I really wanted to get into Texas Hold'em, but I think I need a poker mentor to, like, just show me how the fuck that works. Mm-hmm. Like, I know how to play the game, but Jesus Christ, is it intimidating when you round the corner and it's the poker
and there's
room.
Just,
and
there's just 40 tables and everybody's just slapping cards everywhere.
And just hundreds of people, and you don't know how to get chips, and you don't know where to sit, and you don't know when a game starts, and you don't know... Yeah, it's a whole thing. So, someday someone will be like, here, do this. Because I know how to play the game, just don't know any of the stuff that goes on.
I was there for your last Texas Hold'em night in Madison, right?
I think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in like December before I left.
I got a straight off the flop, and that's the only hand I won that night.
Sometimes it's all you need. Sometimes you just need that one big hand, and then you just kind of coast. Yep, I've been rocking that Red Dead Redemption 2 poker. I've been playing a lot as Bane, using a clothing mod because it's the PC version.
Yes.
So I'm legitimately, like, I took his shirt off, which you can't do in the vanilla game. Like, when you take his shirt off the player model, he doesn't have arms because Arthur, you know, every time except for when he's in the bath is wearing a shirt. So the actual model that isn't in a cutscene doesn't have arms. So you have to like awkwardly put someone else's torso on him. It's surprisingly customizable. So I took off a shirt, gave him a vest. He constantly wears a mask, and people are always commenting on it. Just like, take that mask off. And then I'm pretty brutal, and I kill a lot of people. But I also play poker because I like poker. So, and also the first thing I did was try to find a mod where you can just kill everyone at the camp.
Yeah.
Because Bane rose solo, even though he totally doesn't. He has a lot of henchmen when you think about it. At least kill Dutch, I guess.
Does it add a voice modulator so that it's Bane's voice, but
Oh no.
Oh,
no,
come on.
It's not an official Bane mod. I'm just making his clothes look like Bane and then riding around and like I don't know, you don't realize just how brutal the game can be when you're playing as a good guy. Like you're just like saving people. Like one time there was a woman whose like horse fell on her leg. And I was just like, well, I'm Bane. So I pulled out my knife and killed her. And I was just like, oh, this game can be really, like, you can get really evil in this game.
You're like, I don't want to do this, but I'm RPing it. I have to.
That's literally how I thought of it. I was like, man, well.
Move over, Undertale. Here's a real genocide run.
Yeah, in for a penny. And then, like, there's a lot of witness killing. Because every time you do a crime, there's a witness. And it's, well, all right, I guess I'm killing this guy.
You know, I woke up today only planning on killing one person, but 5 people saw me kill them, so now you kill all them. And 5 people saw me kill each of them, so now I'm up to, like, 31.
Yep.
Ugh.
Luckily, the game only limits it to, like, 2 witnesses per crime. So it doesn't get too out of control too fast. And then they usually run away, so you can just kind of follow them for a little bit. And then just kill them more quietly. Anyway, what were we talking about? Vegas?
Oh, God.
All right. I got one more question, and then we should probably move on to the body of this, because last bullet point on the tracking doc is going to be a big one. What do you guys think is the wildest thing you saw while in Vegas over the weekend?
We saw Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner.
You saw Joe Burrow.
Future number 1 NFL pick. You saw the back of Joe Burrow.
I stood next to Ryan and Ian while they saw Joe Burrow.
You saw him from behind.
I saw him, just not his face. I was like turned and talking to them. And then they just stopped and like grabbed me like, that's fucking Joe Burrow. And I like turned and then he was like walked right past. I think I touched him. Like I think my shoulder brushed up against him or his girlfriend.
No,
and then like I turned around and immediately saw him and I'm like, I could run in front of him and look at him, but I don't want to do that.
No, you do not.
No. Me and Ian literally had the exact same reaction. Like we both like saw a guy that looked like Joe Burrow and we were like, huh. And then we saw he was wearing an LSU hoodie like a split second after, and we both like turned to each other and we were like, that's Joe Burrow. And Andrew was too late somehow. But yeah, so I guess that was crazy.
All right.
It also smelled like shit.
Oh, the whole time. Lucas, I don't remember it smelling like shit when we went there. Do you remember the whole city smelling like actual feces?
I remember the casino part of the hotel we were staying at just smelling 100% like cigarette smoke and like stale booze.
Yeah, it's because people are smoking.
The city itself, though, I just remember being like dry, like desert.
Yeah.
Because it was a moment for me. Like I got there on Tuesday and there was nothing. Like it was fine. And then Wednesday was fine. And Thursday, I remember like in the morning going out on the balcony of my hotel room. I'm like, huh, it smells like shit up here. And then like from then on, like every time I walked outside, it smelled like shit.
Yeah. No idea why. Did it like rain on Wednesday night or something?
No, it didn't rain at all before that Saturday.
That's so weird. No idea. But apparently, I was talking with my parents on my commute today, and my mom, I think, like looked up Twitter and stuff, and yeah, like a lot of people were complaining about it. So it wasn't invented for some reason. It was bad.
It was some sort of event happened.
The event.
Something terrible happened here.
As if I don't know the quote. As if the souls of 40,000 people screamed out and suddenly were silent, or something around that.
Something thereabouts.
Yeah.
And that will about take us into News of the Week.
Yeah, speaking of shit. Take it away, Lucas.
Atlas, a subsidiary of Sega, keeps their parent company's tradition of odd businesses... Nope, couldn't get there. Couldn't even get close.
All right.
Of odd business decisions alive by saying that fans should be vocal about porting Persona 5 Royale to the Switch instead of just doing that. So...
Hold on. Yeah, I need to
what?
reread this.
Wait, is it Persona 5 Royale or Royal?
Either?
Pretty sure it's just Royal.
Did I say Royale? Well,
Yeah.
double fuck me then.
That's spelled with an E.
Oh my god, has Fortnite ruined me?
Nah. You can't read Royal anymore.
I know.
The word doesn't make sense. Just like you can't spell Fortnite correctly. Yeah, what? She says she's not the decision maker, internal champion. What?
Keep telling us what you want. Saying that she was fighting for it internally as well.
Screaming at it from the top of your lungs.
So she was saying, hey guys, I really want this to happen, but I don't make the decisions. So if it's going to happen, you guys better let me know that you want it.
So this is like the most transparent, like, hey guys, make our game trend on Twitter. That is absolutely what this is.
Yeah. Probably, honestly.
Well, it says she's the communications manager. So I don't really know if she would really even have... Yeah, I mean, I don't see why she would have any say in this. She's like
Come
the PR
on,
person.
guys. I can't hear you.
Well, I mean, it seems like she's just like a PR person, and she's like, "Hey, tell us what you want. If that's something you want, let us know. I would like that."
But it is.
Yeah,
it is what it's assuming that they have told them that. It's literally like she's a cheerleader, and she's just like, "What? Are you sure you want?"
It's a weird thing to say.
People said they wanted this when the original Persona 5 came out in like 2018, 2017 maybe.
So so they're coming out with some sort of remake of this game. You've talked about it before. What's it coming out on?
PlayStation
or what?
PlayStation 4 exclusively.
Didn't it already come out on PlayStation 4?
Correct. That was the base version of the game. This is an enhanced version with new content.
What?
Yep, it should be a DLC, but they're going to charge $60 for it, and people are going to buy it, me included, because I'm a sucker.
Oh, so you're saying that this all fucking sucks?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard. Why are you a fan of this? Why are you going to pay for it? You know it's not worth $60. It's a game you've already played with additional content.
Because I want to play it again, but better.
If I had said, wow, Horizon Zero Dawn, one of my favorite games ever, so good, and I heard that they were coming out with a DLC, except it wasn't a $20 DLC, it was just a $60 version of the game, that was the same game, but also a DLC. I wouldn't even buy that.
But what if it came out 2 years later, which is just long enough that it's like $60 sounds like a reasonable investment in this experience again.
It'd be one thing if it had already had like a bunch of DLC that, had cost money, and then like a couple years later they, released the complete edition that was just $60 with all of the DLC included. But this is just the DLC, but also the full game.
I mean, it's also going to be less homophobic. According to the next news point, which relates to this, is that Atlus announced that Persona 5 Royal will remove the homophobic scenes present in the base version of the title. I guess they're still present in the Japanese version that released a couple months ago, though.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question.
Yes.
It's something I've already asked before, but I want you to answer it as if it is a fresh concept, okay? Why are you a fan of this?
This does seem like a common question.
Really good turn-based combat, a lot of meme material in there, fun engaging story, some great characters.
Lucas, you've openly called for like the cancellation of game devs that have done shit like this. But this is just something you like, so the rules don't apply.
I mean, I will be forthright in saying that Atlus has some pretty shitty politics, and they have for a while.
But you're still going to buy the full game, right?
Yeah, I'm a sucker.
Okay.
That is very self-aware.
Is it... I don't know, man. Like, where's the line? Where is, like... Hey, I can, like, point out this game's faults and be critical of them, but also still enjoy it and want to support it and get more games like this made.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, but other games that you haven't enjoyed have done the same shit. And you've chewed them out.
Because they don't have the positives.
Yeah?
Yeah, they don't have the positives. Shitty gameplay that's not fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just blind to it, but I don't think I have many of those tastes where I feel like there's like a bunch of problematic stuff in it. I might just be completely blind. But I think that's my disconnect. But I can see how someone... I mean, like, I for one struggle to root for, like, players in the NFL who have sketchy backgrounds. Or, like, for example, this year, one of the best players on the Wisconsin Badgers, Quintez Cephas, like, recently was acquitted of a sexual assault, and even the explanation didn't really quite pass my filter of, like, uh-oh. And it was a really, like, kind of tough season, and it was difficult to root for him every time he made a play. Unfortunately, there's not many of those players on the teams that I root for. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a big hump for me. But I can understand people who are able to get past that and, like, you know, see it as something else.
Yeah.
Okay, that was heavy. Let's talk about Call of Duty.
Yeah, guys, 1v1 on fucking Rust is official. It's a real game mode now, and honestly, that's really cool. Like, I don't think of much like of Call of Duty anymore and what they put out, but like that's a fun game mode that hasn't been around since like Call of Duty 4. And then not only is it a true 1v1, like it's on Rust, like the original OG 1v1 me bro map. Like, it's pretty cool.
It's not just it's like, oh, I'll make a weird private match and invite you and like all that kind of.
That was like what they did on Black Ops. No, it's an official game mode with matchmaking and everything. And the number one response is some guy 360 quick scoping a guy off the tower in Rust, and like just my life is complete. Like, this is real. People can just play that all day long if they want to, and that's pretty fucking cool. Like, I appreciate that from whoever the fuck makes Call of Duty nowadays.
Yeah.
As
the thing is that Rust is not a good map. It is not a well designed.
Oh, it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it just worked.
It's a perfect 1v1 map, for sure. It's small enough with enough sight lines, but also enough cover that you can fight one person.
You
But
can do some crazy
6v6
shit, yeah.
was just a monstrosity on that map. Like there was at least Nuketown had like a more symmetrical layout. Like Rust was just a monstrosity. You couldn't get anywhere. Every single time you round a corner, it felt like you got shot in the back. It's a bit of a nightmare. And then there was the ground war glitch. That was a thing in the middle of Modern Warfare 2's life cycle where you could play 9v9 on Rust. Like 9v9 domination. And it was a nightmare. Like you would spawn and die like in 1 second. It was pretty impressive.
This isn't a war. This is a slaughter.
Yeah, it's basically what it was. So, yep. That I don't know. Thought that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever played Modern Warfare 2 or 1v1'd people.
Nuketown 1v1 was like the go-to for my circle in high school.
The Black Ops.
Yeah.
Same.
Yep. That was the one that I was better at for sure.
I've only had one experience of the like dude talking shit on the chat, challenging me to go fight in a private match, and I was playing with my friend Jake, who is really, really good at Call of Duty, especially Black Ops, like really, really good at it. And they were like talking shit, and then like some dude was talking shit about him, and I'm like, hey, you can't do that. Me with my like 8 and 13 score, and he's like, oh, you want to fucking go? He's like, let's 2v2, I'll get my boy. and then we just 2v2'd him, and I absolutely was carried by my friend Jake. We won, but it was not because of me.
I liked to consider myself in Black Ops because I was particularly good at that one. I always envisioned myself as like the wise kung fu master who doesn't start shit, but like as soon as someone like starts shit, I step up to the fucking plate. And there were quite a few people that I heard their controller shatter. Like I didn't try too hard most of the time when I was playing, so I'd usually be like 15-5 or something, like not going too crazy. And they would start talking shit to like one of my friends or something. And then they'd be like, anyone in your clan, like, you could 1v1 me and I'd kick your ass. And then I would just calmly be like, all right. And, like, leave, set up a private match, invite him, and then just proceed to relentlessly, like, get, 8 kills in a row and then just hear a controller go, like, fuck, you're cheating! Like, how'd you know where I was? And I'm like, I wear a gaming headset. Like, I can hear your footsteps. You're not using Ninja. Like, that's basic 1v1 shit, man. Like, it was great. Good times. I still play that game. It's almost 10 years old now.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I think that'll take us to the other category, unless we got something going on in TV or film.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, it has been particularly silent on that front.
No worries. In that case, super quick shout out to Sucky Badger and sensual Richard Nixon. Sensual Richard Nixon. For supporting the Voluntary Viewing podcast on Patreon. And hey, Patreon now allows you to take out money in advance from them. If you have an account like fucking Payday Loan Service, which means that in 2 years' time, we're going to hear a story about how Patreon sent goons after some people doing a podcast because they took out an advance and weren't able to pay it back.
Yeah.
Fuck.
How much? They say small premium. It's like, what is that? Just a small fee of 20.3% APR. Like,
20.3%?
No, I made that up. Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, what is the small fee? What's your interest there, Patreon? I'd love to see that number.
They've just got a bunch of fucking guys from Liverpool going around beating the shit out of dudes.
Hey,
bruv. Here, Joe.
Fucker.
Yeah, Patreon.
Oh.
Patreon about $25. I switched to Australian.
Okay, so I just Googled this payday loans interest fee, and the top response is payday loans typically cost 400% annual interest APR or more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, they never said payday loans.
Well, but
The analysis, people were calling it a payday loan scheme.
The subtitle, like the subheader of this article is think of it as a micro loan, and all the alarms in my head started going off.
How long before Patreon gets into the reverse mortgage game?
Yeah,
Bro.
we'll fund your short film project. All you need to do is take out a lien on your house.
Dude, buy some timeshare time. Like you can use that to create content. If you really want to sucker us, you buy 2.
Just hedge on this mortgage.
Hey man, like we're doing an ICO. Can you just?
It's just called Patreon Capital.
We're doing an ICO, initial coin offering. Like if you can just help us with our pump and dump scheme. Like,
oh no.
Oh man.
Wee.
All right. We know you're in over your head. We understand that. But if you can get 2 of your friends to also take out a loan with us, then we'll cut your APR in half.
And we'll double theirs.
Yeah. Dude, by the way, we just we have your investment back and it paid out 30%. But you don't want to pull it out now. Like you got to keep it rolling. You got to let that money ride. Like
Let
it's
it ride.
making money. Meanwhile, they're telling 40 other people the same thing, and they have enough money to pay out like 2 of them.
There is no way that
Old...
Patreon has a trademark or a patent on the idea of Patreon. So I think it's only a matter of a time before another company springs up that does basically Patreon but doesn't pull this shit.
That's what they said about YouTube. And here we are. How many times has YouTube royally fucked up and they're like, all right, now's the time. Like an alternative's going to rise, and it just never did.
Rise to the occasion, Vimeo.
We're going to talk about how YouTube fucked up in just a second.
Uh-oh.
What? I actually don't know what you're what part should I transition to, Andrew?
Wait, it was on the planning document before. Did you get rid of it?
Yeah. No, it was back up. I saw your tweet, Andrew.
Yeah.
I didn't delete anything.
No, it's back up.
Did you delete something, Ryan?
Yeah, I did, because it's back up.
Oh,
like
it is?
Yeah, lo-fi.
Oh, that's what you meant by
beats.
back up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
YouTube had, I guess, for a period of time, taken down the lo-fi hip-hop beats to study/relax to. And that was a travesty. But apparently it's back up, so...
Yeah.
YouTube they bought themselves another day.
Good for chilled cow.
Yep. You gotta love them.
And you gotta love all the piping hot memes we got coming to you in the meme corner.
The memes.
First, I want to read off a line from that the article about Patreon. Every business is different, but they all have the same blood, money. It's just another way corporations really aren't the same as people, no matter what Citizens United says. Thought that was a pretty gold line.
Good job, The Verge. That.
You did it.
Yep.
Good job.
So what memes have you guys been seeing?
So this is a weird one, and it's not a true meme,
okay.
And also it's kind of tragic. Have you guys ever heard of Mad Mike Hughes, the amateur rocket guy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he was big into the flat Earth community, and he recently passed away in Barstow, California, which is relevant because while stopping for a brief meal on our way home from Las Vegas in Barstow, California,
Oh,
I open my phone and read an article, and I'm like, I remember this guy. He was in the Flat Earth documentary. And one of the first lines was in the Barstow, California desert. Oh. And I was just like, that's where I am right now. Like, literally, what are the odds of that? So yeah, he died, and there's been a lot of memes. But it sounds like now that he wasn't really into Flat Earth, and he was more just like an amateur rocket guy. Not a joke. Like, he was big into like creating his own rockets, and like he used Flat Earth as an angle to get funding because they were the ones that were stupid enough to fund him.
I saw the video.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
What
his
happened
parachute
was,
immediately falls off.
Yeah, he's done this before. He's like, it basically just homemade rockets that will shoot more or less straight up into the sky, and then just like a bottle rocket, like a parachute will come out and he'll slowly, fall back to Earth. Pretty basic stuff, but on a large scale. And he's like, I'm going to make one powered by steam. And he launched himself in this metal rocket 5,000 feet into the air. Except literally as it was like leaving the launch pad, and it goes off like a bottle rocket. It's instantaneous. And the parachute just flies off of it and falls back down to Earth. But the rocket is still going up. So yeah, I just then went on its trajectory and fell back to Earth with no parachute. Very fast.
Fuck.
Yep.
Mm.
It was something.
I've
also seen a lot of the what's it called? The Pornhub community intro memes.
I have
People been trolling people. It's been all around. I feel like it's been on the uptick.
Those have been around for a while.
They have been around for a little while. But I remember a couple of streamers recently, like when you're allowed to request music, they'll request that, and then the streamer very visibly is like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" And then they go, "Oh my god, like you got me really hard." So I've seen that kind of making the rounds. I've seen various bands playing that like randomly during their set. Seems like it's gotten around a little bit extra.
Did you see not really a meme, but like pretty memeable? We talked about this earlier, but a bunch of Mike Bloomberg campaign offices got vandalized.
Air quotes.
Well, they got some of them like literally did have like their windows smashed in. But
Okay.
Most of them were just graffiti or signs put up that said like "Eat the rich" and "Oligarch" and "You're a racist" and like "You're a rapist" and shit like that, and just like a lot of commentary and about how like rich people are bad and how Mike Bloomberg's an elitist and he's done a lot of bad shit. And this campaign just put out a long Twitter thread posting all of the pictures saying the bad shit about Mike Bloomberg, calling him an elitist and a racist, and then it was just the comment quote unquote "Eat the rich, America deserves better," and "Mike Bloomberg is a racist, America deserves better." Like these are the tweets put out by the campaign, the official campaign.
It starts to sound like they're endorsing the statements.
Yeah. No, for a hot second, I thought that's what it was. And then I saw that it was like the Twitter verified Mike Bloomberg campaign. And it's just like, America deserves better. People keep saying Mike Bloomberg is a racist who has been assaulting women and is a super elitist, and then we should eat the rich. This is so hateful. You are kind of missing the point. And everyone really commented, and like the one that actually said "Eat the rich" was in Flint, Michigan, and it's just like, Flint, Michigan, eat the rich, America deserves better. It's like, and there was a lot of like, oh yeah, Mike Bloomberg has spent like $150 something million on the campaign so far, And like Flint's water crisis can be solved with like $55 million of funding. He could have just done that himself and had more money left over than anyone else has spent and still have $62 billion. All right. Cool.
Yep.
I also only had the Bloomberg thing for a meme. So, all right, barring anything else, I think that takes us into the breakouts. What have you guys been checking out?
Vegas.
Andrew didn't see anything.
I mean, isn't that the going policy of anybody just going from place to place in Vegas? Like, not gonna get involved with anything you might witness?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was some weird, crazy, Vegas-y shit that I, experienced. I saw an interpretive juggler at a company show with no context. We got to the hotel and we checked in, and then they brought all 1,000 of us up to like this giant showroom theater. And then this guy comes out and he's dressed in a unitard that is like, the pattern is like a naked male body. Like the unitard is like a hairy chest with abs and a gut. And this dude is wearing like a bald cap and he's doing interpretive juggling with like violin music going on, and it was pretty fucking cool, but like also super weird. And then and then he leaves and the CEO comes out and nobody addresses it. I thought there was going to be some sort, like a couple years ago when they did this, they had like a similar interpretive show where they were like busting through walls, and like the message was like, we're not going to let barriers stop us, whatever. They didn't say anything about this. There's no context. I thought they were going to say something like, yeah, we ask you guys to, multitask, and, a lot of stuff's happening in this company at once that we got to keep track of, but, we're going to succeed. And, like, there was nothing like that. Saw a giant battleship.
Okay, that's actually that was actually pretty
really
cool.
Fun.
Yeah,
that picture looked like it'd be cool.
It was pretty cool to see. Just like a 10-foot tall game of Battleship, with giant pegs that you would stick in the wall, a giant table of operation that like a sexy nurse would like come and grab your hand and pull you to the operation table and make you do surgery. Just weird shit like that.
All right.
So yeah, a lot of fun. But I did technically watch something during the trip. Well, I watched multiple things during the trip, but I did not actually watch it.
What did you not actually watch?
Well, on my United Airlines flight from Chicago O'Hare to Las Vegas, they had, the little in-flight, movie screens, on the chair in front of you, and you could watch live TV. Like I watched like 20 minutes of SportsCenter, and they had some other live TV going on, and they said, we've got a couple of in-flight movie selections for you, including The Joker, or just Joker, Jojo Rabbit, Frozen 1, The Devil Wears Prada, whatever.
Batting 1,000 so far.
I'm like, maybe I'll watch Joker or Jojo Rabbit, and I was reading my book for a little bit. I turned on some SportsCenter. I'm like, okay, I've got like 3 hours left in the flight. I'll turn on the movie, and it was live.
What?
It was already like a half hour into the fucking movie, and I like looked around and I could see other people's screens, and everybody who was watching any of the movies had it all on at the exact same spot. Like, there were 2 dudes ahead of me watching Joker at one point, but like not like next to each other, like one row ahead of me and then like the row ahead of him, and I could still see their screen, and they were on the same spot. And then I like looked at the guy left of me, he was watching Jojo Rabbit, and another guy ahead of me was also watching Jojo Rabbit, and they were on the same spot. So like when the flight took off, the movies started, and then if you tuned into that movie, it was just going. Like, it was television.
I have...
And then like, it finished, and then it started up again with, like, 45 minutes left in the flight.
I've never had that experience. Like, every time I've flown and they had in-flight movies, it was always start at your own pace.
Yeah. But I did watch, like, 10 or 15 minutes of Joker, because the guy ahead of me was watching it. I watched it with no sound. And I apparently watched the most pivotal part of the movie. I, like, tuned into the guy watching the Joker ahead of me. I'm like, oh, okay. I saw him smother his, I assume, mom or somebody else significant, and then murder some guy in his apartment, and then paint his face up and go dance down the stairs, like where all the memes came from, and get chased into the subway and get hit by a taxi. And then, yeah, it was a whole thing. No context. No idea what's going on.
Sure.
I watched the Sonic movie, and it makes sense that Sonic fans think that this is a good movie because it is just as bland and mediocre and not actually good as everything else in the Sonic franchise. This movie made me realize that there is no, like, wholly singular good piece of Sonic media at all.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I feel like that's what the reviews have been saying. Like, whoa, I'm surprised it wasn't terrible. Like, that was a passable movie. Like,
$200 million.
Oh, budget or how much it's made?
How much it's made so far.
I feel like it's made more than that. Am I wrong?
Maybe that was opening weekend.
Yeah, I think it said in its first 10 days, it made like 200 something domestic, like 206 domestic, but like also however much it fucking made worldwide.
Right now it's at... Oh, wait, what? To date? Hold on. Is this right? No. Oh, that's domestic. Come on, I don't want to see domestic. You want to see all territories.
I am...
Oh, yeah, just over 200. But yeah.
Oh, so that was globally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I saw a budget of 95 million. I don't know if that included marketing or not, but...
No, it never does.
And
okay.
I don't think that figure includes, like, the probably 10 million that went into the CGI patch, let's call it.
Oh, you don't think it did? I thought it did.
I don't believe the figure on Wikipedia included that, but I might be mistaken. Yeah, no.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Sonic franchise is coasting on a couple, 3 really good commercials back in the 90s, a couple of okay games, and just the acting chops of Jaleel White. That is it. And that has convinced people that, yeah, Sonic is actually a really good and important franchise. And it's just not. I don't even fucking know how to talk about this movie. Jim Carrey showed up for it. I guess that's the greatest compliment I can give. You know what? Let's make this a game. I'm going to describe some things from the Sonic movie, and I want you guys to guess whether or not that was actually in the Sonic movie, okay?
Okay.
Sure.
Sonic's feet are a central plot point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that was actually in the movie.
I don't know if you're going to say anything that would make me go like, whoa, that doesn't belong in this movie.
There is a giant CGI owl that is Sonic's mom and dies in the movie.
I'm going to go with yes.
I'm going to say no.
There is a giant CGI mom owl.
Keep in mind, I will almost certainly not say no. Keep going.
Jim Carrey speaks Japanese.
That's in it. I know. I've seen the tweets. That's in it.
It is. Sonic knows what a live stream is, but not a bucket list.
Yeah, I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah.
Starting to sound like all these are just in it.
Yeah, it's just 37 truths and no lies.
Shadow the Hedgehog shows up at the end of the movie.
No.
Correct.
Hey. I feel like I definitely don't need to see this movie.
You don't? It's not good, and anybody who thinks it is,
Jade is a big fan of the old Sonic games, and she saw the planning document, and she saw your comment about how it was like the whole franchise is bland and mediocre, and she got real upset. She was all like, she was about to be like 1v1 me on, or 1v1 me on Rust, bro. Like,
1v1 me on oh shit. I had a Sonic map. I forgot
Green
it. New
Zone.
Beach Town, yeah, or Green Zone. Whatever.
Casino Zone. I don't know. It's not good, and like the big takeaway theme of it is just like, hey kids, don't follow your dreams and move to the big city. Stay in your shitty hometown where you know everybody instead.
yeah.
Fuck. It's just, I don't think I have anything good to say other than Jim Carrey was good, and like he was.
Oh wait, I spotted the lie. I finally found your lie.
And like the scenes with him and fucking Teddy were actually pretty entertaining, just because Teddy, James Marsden, is so fucking good at just being like generic attractive human that he is the perfect straight man for Jim Carrey to be weird to. And like that was it. Fuck. Fuck. I got nothing else. Ugh.
Sounds about right.
Ryan, what have you been checking out?
I've been watching Mr. Robot still.
Still good?
And playing Red Dead as Bane.
Yeah.
As previously mentioned. Yeah, Mr. Robot's still good. Crazy last season. It's going to be a lot of twists and turns, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Before we get into the thing that's probably going to be the title of this episode, I got to give a quick shout out to this week's Chainsaw Man. So in the magazine, Chainsaw Man is published in Shonen Jump. They usually do every week 2 series in the magazine get 2 color spreads. One that's at like the very front of the magazine and one that's like halfway through it. The one that got the cover color spread this week was One Piece, and it used it to promote cup noodles in Japan. And the art wasn't bad or anything. This is tied into like some short animated commercials that have been pretty popularly received and really well animated, but the whole thing felt weirdly corporate and sell-outy that ads tend to. Also this week, Chainsaw Man was the middle of the week color spread, and it was just lesbian sex. And that is fucking punk rock, and it wasn't like fucking like anime sex scene. I actually thought it was pretty tasteful, and I fucking love this dumb comic.
It sounds like it.
Shout outs to Chainsaw Man.
You hear that, Chainsaw Man? Shout out to you.
They're fighting Germany's greatest assassin, who's only known as Santa Claus right now.
Sounds like a good one.
And we got a good movie to talk about in the group chat.
What movie's that?
a movie that's, definitely Oscar nomination worthy. Who can say if it actually deserves the win? Parasite.
I can say.
Yeah, I can say, having seen both of the main two competitors.
Yeah, Lucas, have you seen 1917? That's not what we're going to talk about. Have you seen 1917?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Because Ryan and I have both seen it. So we have the, kind of the comparison in our heads. So we'll have to compare for you.
Let's just go through this really good but kind of weird and morally gray movie. So it opens on this family living in a semi-basement, so teetering on the brink of just fucking absolute poverty that their phones don't even work at the beginning. They couldn't afford the bill.
This is Korea, by the way.
South Korea, yeah. And their quick thing to make money is that they end up folding delivery boxes for a nearby pizza joint. And, they don't even get to make all of the money from that. The woman who, picked up the boxes from them pretty much said to them point blank, hey, 1 in 4 of all of these boxes are, not folded right. I'm not going to pay you, the full amount for this. And then the entire family just looks at the dad.
Okay, we don't have to, go through the script of the movie. Okay,
do you not
let me
want
tell you
to?
what this movie... No. I
Wow.
would love to talk about the movie, but, that's not a commentary. We're not...
Fucking
discussing
take it
the
away
movie
then.
by
Set the
describing
tone.
it beat for beat. I did that once when my mom, who has never seen The Big Lebowski, asked me to tell her what it was about, and I found myself just describing the whole movie beat for beat.
Andrew, I would love for you to describe to our listeners the entire plot of The Big Lebowski.
That'll be my solo podcast. I'll describe the plot of The Big Lebowski. But we're not doing that. We're here to talk about the movie, not describe it.
Fine.
So, if we're talking about the movie, it's, spoiler alert ahead. 1 in 4 of the pizza boxes are not right. It's about a family who kind of slowly, haphazardly, cons their way into working for a rich family by, systematically removing the other people that work for the family and taking their place.
Not, at first, though.
At first, it was just we're going to kind of con these people into, making them think we're people who we aren't. And then it's okay, we can get the rest of the family in on this if we just remove the driver and put the dad in place and, make a fake driving company. And then put the, maid out of business. Or the housekeeper out of business.
And then poisoning her and then telling the family that she has tuberculosis.
Yeah, like you do.
Okay.
With a whole script and everything. Everybody, the family has made a production out of this con. And I think for the first third of the movie, it's pretty funny. There's a lot of humorous beats in there, and then it just kind of becomes something else.
I think when I became less okay with the poor family in this movie is when they actively started getting the other people fired.
That was the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was 20 minutes in.
I don't even know if it was that much.
Yeah.
I think that was 10 minutes in. That's what they were doing to survive. That was the commentary. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. It was heavily implied that they could not survive trying to make a quote-unquote honest living with the pizza boxes.
They kind of
So they had to resort to doing really, really shitty things because otherwise they would literally not survive.
Yeah.
That was the commentary of the movie.
Lucas and I have differing opinions on kind of the message And I think that's kind of the point of the movie, that there is, that gray in there. But
what do you think the message is if it's not that, Lucas?
The overall message of the movie is definitely that just wealth inequality is just inherently evil, and you can't be good in this norm that late stage capitalism has created. Even the most sympathetic, just courteous rich people cannot be good by having so much more wealth than everybody else.
That family was sympathetic and good people? I didn't think they were.
The rich family you're talking about? Yeah. Like,
I thought that they were definitely portrayed as like being completely inoculated, and they even had a line in there where they were like, yeah, I would be nice too if I was really rich, because every problem that I have would be resolved.
Right, but I'm saying like that was the point of the movie.
Yeah, someone's like, hey, but they're nice, like they're good people, and they're like, no, they're not, they're just rich, and like that lets them be friendly.
It's completely skin deep, like they clearly have a lot of problems with poor people to the point where the only use that they have for them is
work
to serve them.
Yeah.
To do jobs that they don't want them to do, or they don't want to do themselves. Like, they make a lot of points that, like, oh, the mom doesn't know how to cook. Like, she has to constantly have things cooked for her.
They're completely reliant on what is the representation of, like, the underclasses.
I feel like you're correcting me while agreeing with me right now.
I think the movie is a little less.
Well, you said the rich family is really nice and courteous, and I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think the rich family is definitely not portrayed that way.
I'm saying that the point of the movie is dispelling that myth.
I guess.
Okay, what do you guys think was the point of the movie? Like, what was...
Is that really a myth? Like, do people really think that? Like, rich people are all nice and great. Is that really a thing people think?
I don't think that it's a thing that people think that rich people are nice and great. But there's a lot of rich people that portray themselves that way, and everyone's like, oh, look, this guy, he's like super nice, and look at all this charity he's doing. Jeff Bezos worked really hard, and now look at all the money he's donating to the Amazon.
Or how many...
I haven't seen that.
How many people are...
Jeff Bezos just donated $10 billion to fight climate change, and everyone was like, fuck you, Jeff Bezos. Like,
well, everybody in our circle.
I mean, come on. How many people genuinely think that Elon Musk is like a super great, super cool guy when...
Tons of people, like, idolize the rich. Are you kidding me? Tons of people idolize these guys. They're like, holy shit, Elon Musk is my fucking dude. Tim Cook... wow, so awesome. Steve Jobs, what a visionary.
And
like people idolize the rich all the fucking time. And I think that was part of the point of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, stop idolizing these rich people who you think of as like so visionary and hardworking, because they're rich and that makes them assholes.
You are being the crazy man-child in the basement every time you do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the meme of, oh, Jeff Bezos worked really hard. He started in the basement. Steve Jobs was, kicked out of school, and look where he got himself. Like, eat the rich is just people being lazy, and it's just the picture of the basement dweller.
I don't know. It seems like a straw man a little bit to me. Maybe I just don't run into those types of people in my normal life, but that seems like an argument that's been fabricated because people want like something to rail against. Like, I don't think rich people have a very positive interpretation in America. Is maybe American culture. Maybe in South Korea, that's a big thing.
I think globally it's a little bit different, but I think even in America, we're just kind of seeing that slip away now. I think for a while there was such this reverence towards the wealthy and the powerful. And again, like, we don't see that.
Right.
I mean, you saw it this weekend. I was listening to White America, the fuck the system when I was in middle school. I have authority problems.
It wasn't even truly fuck. Anyway, we don't need to get into White America.
No.
That wasn't truly fuck the system and the wealthy and the powerful. It was fuck the white parents who hate my music because I'm appealing to white kids and not black kids. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I haven't really seen that in my lifetime, like a irreverence. I mean those stories are true, but they're leaving out the in between. Like those stories of people like leaving to start to build something of their own, taking a huge risk, being innovative. Those are all true, but then there's an in between portion between then and now where they're uber rich billionaires to the point where money is like just farcical. Like it's not even a calculable amount, and the inequality created by that is where the evil comes in.
Yeah,
versus
the main theme of the movie was that like this income inequality drives people to do terrible things.
Yeah,
just because
that's why
they
I
have
think
to.
the main theme is. I agree with you, Andrew.
Yeah,
I think it's more,
I was talking about
it's
the
not focused
portrayal
on
of
the
the
rich.
characters.
I think that Lucas, your message might
Okay.
be more focused on the rich family, whereas I think it's much more focused on the poor family and showing what people are forced to do in this system, versus like being more rich family focused.
Or okay, yeah, I guess. I'm sorry. I guess I described like more like the kind of takeaway I most appreciated or that resonated most strongly with me more than everything that was in the movie. And like, fucking yeah, some of that stuff really hit super hard. Like when they're asleep or trying to sleep in the gymnasium, and the dad just kind of admits that like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I can't know because if I like have any kind of hope or like try to put anything together to get ahead, I am just going to be beaten down in the face of this reality.
Yeah, I think they bring that up a lot.
Yep.
That the dad really does see himself as more of an equal to a lot of those people because he's more of an idealist, and that creates a lot of problems for him. Like the rich dad always talks about him towing the line, and like almost going there and all that sort of thing. And then like sometimes it gets too personal because he's like, oh, I'm like one of you, and the rich dad does not like that, and he always shuts down. And kind of like the scene where he's about to dress up as a Native American, and he says something along the lines of like something you'd say to a friend probably, and the rich dad says like, you're getting paid for this, like shut up, basically. So that yeah, I think, and same thing with the pizza boxes, like he doesn't see himself necessarily as this type of person. So, and then I think that's also the main tragedy, that the daughter was, like they said, the most likely to be able to one day live out this sort of fantasy, and then she's the one that dies and is not allowed to realize that sort of thing.
It's like you can try or you can be good at things, but more likely than not, you are not going to be able to live out that life and achieve your dreams of that rags to riches story. It's like, sure, like people can work really hard to get to that point, but that doesn't really happen very often. Like the dad has the line towards the beginning of the movie of like all the different businesses he tried to start that all went up in flames.
Yeah.
It was like, was that before the bakery shop or after? And he's like, oh, that was before the car dealership and whatever.
So am I connecting things that aren't actually there, or I don't know, maybe this is just like to make the basement guy even more sympathetic, but was it kind of implied that like the business he started went under, that like he took out loans for and had to live in the basement to hide from people? Like, is it kind of implied that like the dad worked at one of those? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of
Okay,
it.
cool.
They made it sound like, it was like a bakery, which is what he was working
There
at.
was a weird beat where the guy said something about like he lost his job at the bakery, and then like it cut to the dad and he made a face.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure the guy in the basement owned the business.
Right.
And the dad worked for the guy in the basement.
I thought there may have been something in there like, I mean, like, yeah, like either they worked together or like one worked for the other. I thought
the dad worked for him.
You think the dad worked for the guy in the basement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought there may
The
have
guy
been...
in the basement was taking out all the loans and everything like that.
I thought there may have been something about like the dad had bought the shop out from under him, or had done some sort of trickery, because it had also been implied that they, not to this extent, but had been doing kind of cons like this for a while.
Oh, yeah, no, I assumed that this was far from their first con.
Mm-hmm. I thought that look was kind of like a look of like realization or guilt on the dad's face. Like there had been something there that he was partially responsible in some way. I don't know. So that's what you read into it too, Lucas?
You're making a really good argument for it, but I don't know, Ryan. I think my initial reaction to that was more like he worked under the guy in the basement for a while.
Yeah,
but
that's what I thought.
Like I then again, these people like kind of,
because I don't think they knew each other. I don't think that was a part.
Well, you don't necessarily have to know someone if it's a big enough business.
That's
you wouldn't
fair.
necessarily run into the owner.
I mean, they were both like what, probably in their mid-50s. Like this could have been 30 years ago that they were working together, and like
yeah.
We haven't really talked about the mom at all in the family, and she is kind of, I felt like one of the saddest characters in the movie, because like
she was kind of the most cutthroat.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the kind of the representation of like the mom instinct doing anything to help the family.
My thought was more that like, am I correct in thinking that those like medals and stuff, those belong to the for like what was that, like track and field? I think those like belong to the mom.
Yeah, she was like a shot put champion or something.
Right. So like she, I don't know, it was kind of implied that she had like this whole like athletic prospect lined up that never really paid off, and now she was just poor and kind of angrier than everybody else about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like I kind of saw that as like the, like the dad has not quite yet at this point of the story been beaten down by all of his failures, but the mom kind of had, or is beaten down, but is still just kind of like doing what it takes to get by in a bitter sort of way.
Yeah.
Like the mom might be like, fuck it, like fuck the world, fuck everything. And the dad's like, oh yeah, like at the beginning, he was like, you have a plan? Like talking to the son, he's like, good. Like that's awesome. Like, congratulations, you got a plan. Like, kind of like that spark lit up in his eye. The mom's just like, eh.
I don't think the son ever like genuinely thought he was going to go to university.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, maybe not.
I thought in my head that if they didn't replace the housekeeper, in theory, they could have been fine.
Right. Yeah.
They went a little too far.
Thought, yeah, the first thought, I was like, why do they need to replace it? Like, no offense to the mom, but like, I'm assuming those 3 salaries could keep them all afloat. Like, they seem to be doing pretty well. Do they really need to go
but then,
all in? But,
then you get into that argument of like, oh, why do the poor keep wanting more? We gave them so much already.
If you start thinking thematically, I'm thinking purely from a plot standpoint.
I think from the plot standpoint, like the point that they made, like I think this is a line that the son said, is that the housekeeper's too nosy. She's catching on to us.
Oh yeah.
So they had to get rid of her, otherwise they would have been found out.
It seemed like they were all doing well, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they were doing
their job. I think they made a point to make them all capable of performing those jobs,
No, and like they didn't fuck up or anything like that. They were saying that the housekeeper is just, she's got too good of a handle on everything. She's too smart. So we got to get rid of her so that there's not as much of a risk. They thought of her as like a threat. And so like to your point, like, if we observe the plot from outside of the movie, no, they probably didn't have to get rid of the housekeeper, but they thought they did. I don't think it was just like a, hey, we can get another salary going.
Sure.
Do we want to talk about the climax of the movie?
Of literally the different kinds of poor people murdering each other?
Yep.
and fighting quite literally underneath the wealthy class. Like literally underneath the wealthy class. It's not too subtle, but it's not bad.
It, it doesn't quite get to sorry to bother you level of turning metaphors into actual things, but it's there. It's almost there.
I thought it was much more potent than Sorry to Bother You, to be honest with you. I thought it was much more one-to-one, and they didn't sacrifice they didn't sacrifice what's it called, readability, legibility for spectacle.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like they kept it relatively grounded, minus the karate kick down the stairs. Other than that, it was pretty much like a struggle, you know.
I thought that was just like the perfect punctuation of like just like this completely soulless kick in the face down the stairs to like, you know, get a really bad fatal concussion. And like there were no beats in between. She just like boop, kicked her down and then turned around and kicked the door behind her.
In your guys' theater, did you get a laugh followed by an immediate like, oh shit?
I had a guy in the theater that would laugh at the most inappropriate moments.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah,
my theater gave out a hearty laugh with the kick because it was very cartoonish, and then when her head splatted on the wall, everyone immediately was like, "Oh, fuck!"
Yeah, yeah. There was a gasp in my theater. Even the guy that was laughing at all the weird moments didn't laugh then.
Yeah.
I watched this at home through Amazon, rented it there. When the kick happened, I definitely let out like one of those no's, like, but then her head hit the cement wall, and I audibly groaned at that happening.
Yeah. It was brutal.
And
then them immediately descending for what felt like hours through the streets of South Korea to get to their home.
Yep.
Like,
flooded with sewage and garbage. Yeah.
And then the rich mom the next day saying how great the rain was because it cleared up the smog.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective.
There you go.
To gain.
That's what got it the Oscar right there. Shit like that in the movie.
I mean, I've said that.
Yeah.
Like, living in Los Angeles, that is the effect of rain on me. Like, that clears up the weather really nicely. And like, oh, maybe the hills will be more green now. Like, that's a true thing.
Oh, fuck, have I accidentally been an asshole?
I mean, I don't know any people in Los Angeles.
No, don't worry. This movie isn't supposed to make you feel introspective or anything.
I mean, ironically enough, when it rains very heavily in Los Angeles, it creates mudslides, primarily in the hills, where all the rich people live. So in theory, it's almost a reverse Parasite. I'm sure there are like homeless encampments that get flooded.
Oh man, these wildfires are so great. They block out the sun, so it's not too hot over here.
And then all the rich people's houses burn. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but that was the first thing I thought of too. It was like, that would be something I've said.
Yeah. All right, do we want to get into like cool or weird stray observation territory now?
Sure.
So, the first scene where the dad is driving the rich dad in the car, and the rich dad has like a cup of coffee, and he says to the dad pretending to be a driver, like, "Oh, don't worry, this isn't a test." But then later, the rich guy looks at the cup of coffee while he's
sure
turning,
that it's not splashing around. Yeah,
and like it absolutely fucking is a test. That is just like, I felt that, man. I know people. I have met and worked with people who like, yep, that's such a fucking thing.
Yeah, in kind of like the corporate world, there's a lot of like, hey, no judgment. Tell us what you think of that, and then everybody like says a bunch of positive shit because they know if they say something negative, they will absolutely get blacklisted. And then like as soon as like the meeting is done, people are like, God fucking damn it, this sucks.
Yeah, I feel like that went so far over my head because literally, like in my world, everything's a test. Like you're constantly on. Everything you do is analyzed. Like, and it becomes second nature to you in a way that like I don't even think about it anymore. You just know. So, yeah, that went straight over my head. That's an interesting point to bring up.
Perform, damn it.
I mean, I just saw him with the coffee in his hand. I'm like, oh, he's testing him. And I must have just ignored the line, don't worry, this isn't a test. Because I know in my own life, like, if someone says that doesn't matter. Like, you're still going to be judged and evaluated. So.
There's, like, if you don't live in that world constantly, it's easy to kind of, like, let yourself believe that, like, oh, these are just nice people who are asking me for my opinions or, like, seeing what I'm doing. Like, I've literally heard the word in meetings like, hey guys, this is a safe space. Tell me what you really think about it. And then people will talk about something and they'll leave. And then the person that asked will turn to me and say, can you believe that fucking guy? I'm like, oh, you just said that you wouldn't judge him.
You're going mask off too quick there, bud.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true. I've already talked about it with Andrew in Vegas, but one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the son teaching the dad how to act.
Yes.
Which is a joke lost on American audiences because the dad is one of South Korea's most beloved actors.
Yeah,
so
he's been in everything.
We talked of a bunch of different comparisons, but it sounded like Ansel Elgort teaching like Robert De Niro how to act would be the equivalent in like an American movie. And I'm like, that's pretty good. Like, that's a fantastic joke. So I appreciated that a lot after reading about it. But I did kind of assume, I'm like, that's probably a well-known actor being taught by like a very young actor.
I saw a lot of, oh, this is Timothée Chalamet or Tom Holland teaching Anthony Hopkins how to act.
Yeah.
I didn't, outside of Snowpiercer, I didn't recognize the dad from anything specific, but like I knew that he was definitely a guy and like had the connection of, okay, if I, a person who doesn't know Korean films, hardly at all recognize this person, he's probably one of the biggest actors in Korea.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Is it less scummy for an early 20-something to have a romantic relationship with a teenager in Korea than it is here?
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know. I mean, did you read early 20-something? I kind of read, maybe it's just because I was forcing it because of their relationship. Yeah. I kind of read like he was just out of high school, and that's why he was talking about how he didn't go to college last year, but he wants to go this next year. So maybe he was more like 18 and it was less scummy, but yeah. Well, I mean, even then she was like 14, so.
Right.
Yeah, I thought she was either like 14 or 15 or something, but she was like, and again, like I did kind of see it as creepy. I don't think it was supposed to be like that, but I mean, like she was like studying for exams. Like I kind of took that as like, I have no idea how the Korean education system works, but like I thought she was like 14 or 15 and maybe like their primary school is shorter and they enter secondary school early. Like I thought he was like helping her practice for the exams that he's taken like 5 times or whatever.
I just saw him as like a rich girl needs an English tutor to help with her like English homework in classes. Like that's what I got off of it. And I think there was a throwaway line in there about him, the son being through his required military service, which I think is like 2 years in.
That was a line.
Yeah, so he was at least 20, I think.
Okay. All right, it's weird.
So weird for Western audiences, possibly.
So it is spoken. Lucas has decided.
Yeah, it definitely crossed my mind, but I think my headcanon started to block it out with like, well, didn't they say like sophomore? So maybe she's like 16 and he's like 18, so it wouldn't be that weird.
I think
that's just purely headcanon, so I could get through the movie.
Yep.
I think like initially I thought it was like, oh wow, like that's creepy, and then like I kind of put together lines like as the movie went on that I chose to ignore.
And then
of like you've tried to get into college, like you've taken the exams 3 different times and you've already served in the military and you've like flunked out of all this stuff, and like in kind of implying that he was maybe like 24 years old.
And then just like how on board the dad and mom are that this maybe 15-year-old girl is into him. Like, yeah, man, get it. Do you guys think the son's college friend who hooks him up with this job at the beginning of the movie intentionally went with him because he knew that, like, on some level he knew the son would fuck it up, and then this job and the girl would still be waiting for him when he got back from studying abroad?
I think so. I think it was like you guys are from a poor, like, still, his friend, but like definitely seeing them as lesser, not a threat,
Okay.
It's like, these guys are poor and dumb. They're not any threat to me.
Yeah, but he did like say, how important his word was with them. So maybe I took it more as, or less that he was going to fuck up teaching her, and more that, like, he wasn't going to steal your girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was like had anything to do with like him trying to keep the job when he came back. I think it was all about the girl.
All right.
And he also kind of seemed to not really like the family. He's like, the mom's kind of a fucking idiot.
She kind of was.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Like, he
making sure.
He was aware. He wasn't like talking to him like, oh, the family's lovely. Like, you'll get along great or anything like that.
No, that family was broken.
Yeah.
Like, the daughter was so neglected.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the saddest parts for me. Like, multiple times throughout the movie, it was very clear that they did not give a shit about her, and they only cared about the son. And, like, they, basically adored him, and then meanwhile, like, she asked the son and the dad if they wanted soup, and then went, all right, I'm not even going to ask you. Like,
that was a really good line. Like, and the daughter being upset about that was like,
you
oh,
didn't even
God,
ask me.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and then them, of course, like, immediately dismissing her, just like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't mean anything by it. And it's like, yeah, that's very poignant right there.
And then, of course, this girl would then immediately have a romantic interest in, like, any slightly older guy who's giving her, like, attention. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
No, exactly. Like, it's literally just, but it in a way it kind of made her a better person. Like, I think in the end party scene
where she's carrying the guy out.
Yeah, she immediately wanted to carry the guy out, and also, like, she talks about, like, the people at the party as though she can see through, like, the facade and everything like that. Like,
she's clearly supposed to be
disenfranchisement
separate.
by my parents has made me not blind to, like, the plight of people who are considered quote unquote lesser. And I thought that was an interesting point as well. She for me was one of the more interesting characters of the whole thing, which is probably why my headcanon tried to stretch so far to make it less creepy. So
I don't know if this is also a South Korean cultural thing, but the fact that, like, when characters were kind of pleading with each other, they would refer to, like, the other person as, like, sis or bro. That stuck out to me. That was...
No, I don't know that one. Oh, yeah, I guess a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think that's just
but it sounded more like sister or brother, like a comrade.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You're my sister in this fight, you're my brother in this fight. Like,
I read that as more familiar, but okay.
Sure.
I think that's just
the
a
one I'm
cultural
thinking
term.
of was when what's it called? They were pleading with them to not basically kill them, like the maid and her, or the former housekeeper and her husband, saying, like, we're the same, like, before the power dynamic shifted because of the video and everything like that. So, yeah.
Andrew, you have any stray observations? I don't think I don't think I've heard yours yet.
I mean, basically just kind of what we've already talked about. I mean, I saw this movie a while ago and had been banging the drum on it, and to no avail. But lo and behold, some fucker named Oscar comes along and tells you this guy.
On. I've been saying for how many podcasts that the showtimes didn't line up with my work. And then, Oscar did allow me to see it because it got, like, 17 more screenings in my area. So I was allowed to have one that actually lined up.
I'm just busting your balls.
You pull out that complaint at the drop of the hat is why I'm particularly defensive there.
I am admittedly the guy who does not consume a lot of media, but I was the first one in the group to see this movie. I am proud of it.
You just happened to see the movie that turned out to be the Oscar winner because it was by the same Because it was tangentially related to Snowpiercer.
No, I saw the trailers for the movie. I'm like, this looks really fucking good, and I think this is weird, but like it's coming back to me now. I think the final straw for me seeing it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out of my way and see this movie, not just like I'll see if I can find a screening on the weekend, because I saw it on like a Wednesday night, like late on a Wednesday night. I saw a tweet by Elise Willems of all people that said like, oh my god guys, Parasite is really good. I'm like, okay, there it is. My last time to see this movie is like this Wednesday night. I'm gonna go see it. And Jade's like, I want to watch it.
Glad to hear your tastemaker is Elise Willems.
Funhouse seal of approval.
It was just the final straw. But I saw, I'm like, this movie's really good.
Everyone has a final straw.
And like I saw 1919, later, pretty soon after it came out. I'm like, I really liked 1919. I thought it was a really good movie. And I keep saying 1919.
Yeah, I know, you said it twice. I wasn't going to say anything.
Oscar nominee, 1919. I saw 1917, and I really liked it. And like I got home, it made me fucking cry. And I'm like, wow, that was really good. Parasite's still better.
Yep.
Anything else before we head into the wind down?
No. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you just
Oh,
got it ruined for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. We put a spoiler alert in there.
Did we?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
That was after Lucas started just describing the entire plot.
I would have been down to go beat for beat through this movie.
We'd still be doing it. We'd
it would have taken 2 hours.
We'd be talking right now about like, and then they make ramdon, which is udon and ramen mixed together.
That was a really good line, though. Come on.
I guess.
What the hell is ramdon?
But that scene at the end where the son is, talking about his plan after kind of seeing the message flashed out by his father in the basement about how he's gonna, work really hard and buy the house, and then his dad can like live there free, and then it shows them doing that. That was just like a fantasy, right? That didn't actually happen.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure we're all on the same page.
Did they actually get a different actor for the son in that scene, or did they just clean him up that well? Okay,
it was just a different haircut.
A glow up.
Okay,
yeah. It's like, oh, this is years later after he became super rich. Everything came together and he became rich and was able to buy the house. But yeah, like definitely not a thing that happened. That was part of the dream.
The transition between that sequence and the final sequence was literally like dropping below the floor of the house.
Yeah.
To them in their sub-basement. I think it was definitely super heavily implied that it was literally impossible what he was going to set out to do.
I had just seen a couple of random people and like one other person that saw the movie that were like, no, it happened. Like they lived out the dream and they were able to like work their way out of the sub-basement and buy the house. I'm like, yeah.
How do you have that interpretation after watching that full movie?
Exactly. No, we're all on the same page. I'm just making sure that like I'm not the crazy one.
No, I'm incredulous at those people that you've seen. Are you literally blind and stupid?
It was the point of the movie is that the dream is not achievable.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about America. Like it was not about America, but like basically the idea that we consider the American dream is unachievable. Almost
Except
always.
for in Denmark.
Except
Hot meme.
Bernie Sanders
God,
going
his
off.
fucking grin. That was for those of you who didn't see in the Nevada debate, Mayor Pete had a point where he basically said like the American dream is dying. Like the United States isn't in the top 10 for countries to live out the American dream. Like number 1 right now is Denmark, and like almost in a comedic fashion, they cut to a wide shot of all the candidates, and Bernie Sanders is grinning from ear to ear, like literally full blown, like you motherfucker.
He's like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do now.
Like inhales deeply.
You just gave an alley-oop to the other team, buddy.
Like he is like arguably the biggest Bernie critic, and then meanwhile he just praises literally one of Bernie's example countries. Like, it's pretty golden. So, yeah. Had to slip that reference in because I think me and Ian literally bust a gut like laughing because it was almost like a comedy. Like the pacing was pretty golden.
You just hear
whoever
dun,
decided
dun,
to cut
dun,
to the wide
dun,
shot.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Yo, guys, is Buddha just a
whoever cut to that
plant?
wide.
What's going on right now?
Yeah, you imagine. I mean, he'd be a pretty poor straw man. Like he does not play nice all the time. He's kind of like John Oliver when he rails against AT&T, Time Warner. He's like, "You like that business, Daddy?" So good times.
Good
But
time.
as a closing note,
Okay.
just because I do think that is one of the common themes, I appreciate that literally everyone in the movie worked hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, every single person in the movie had a job and worked hard. It wasn't making a commentary on this type of people are lazy, this type of people work less hard. Because I feel like it's taking away from someone what might not be there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like saying that a CEO of a Fortune 500 company doesn't work hard is just being facetious. But it at the same time exposed why just because you work hard doesn't mean you deserve this much more than another human being. Because guess what?
Everybody
Like,
works hard.
everyone is trying their best.
Yeah.
Everyone is working very, very hard.
There
there
weren't any like people trying to like collect handouts or anything.
Yeah,
even-
exactly.
Even to some extent, the mom of the rich family was.
The
like,
mom worked very hard.
She-
Like, the mom had a legitimate job. She was in charge of the house. Like,
Yep.
in a way that isn't a normal thing for a quote-unquote housewife. Like, she literally
She was like
had
an
to hire
event
help,
planner and-
evaluate them. Like, it was a full-time gig.
And you definitely got the impression that her son was, on some level, like some kind of special needs, and she was just terrified because she had no idea how to really meaningfully address that. And
Yeah. Andy saw a fucking real ghost.
Yeah.
that
Yo,
would
that-
scare the shit out of me.
that fucking scene, man, that was
Oh.
perfect.
It's not a horror movie, and I knew exactly what it was. Like, they don't jump scare you at all, but that is the creepiest fucking thing I have ever seen in a non-horror movie. Like, Jesus Christ.
I thought we were going to get through this without talking about that scene, but holy hell, yes.
I was so confused. I mean, like it did scare the shit out of me, and I didn't figure it out until like the lady was trying to open up the door, and I like realized that there was something living down there. Like, but like I saw the eyes and the fingers, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
No, they introduced us to that character before the ghost.
Did they?
Yeah. Before the scene, we knew about that character.
Did we?
That was the
Living
that
in
was
the
the whole
basement,
point. Like,
When?
we knew who he was, and that's what made it, like, supposed to have made it less creepy, but it didn't help.
No.
Like, at all.
That just, like, oh.
We knew that he had seen a ghost when he was a kid. We knew that, and they didn't talk about it anymore until we met the character. And then we saw him freaking out.
Yeah. Okay.
he had the seizure.
I'm mixing up the scenes now. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, that was fucking
No, it
terrifying.
was so fucking creepy.
Like
and
in my mind,
Knowing who it was didn't help at all.
in my mind, I remembered it as like the mom telling the story about how he saw the ghost, and then it was the flashback to him seeing the guy.
Yeah.
But I
we saw that
realized
later,
now
once we
that
knew
it was
who he
later.
was,
Yeah.
Which was, whoo!
Yeah, and then
Fuck.
just the fucking fact that, like, he actually was communicating through Morse code, like,
Yeah.
the entire time, and only the kid
Could understand
realized
it.
it. Fuck. Yeah.
It's all...
Yeah, the kid the whole time is like, yeah, there's an actual ghost, like he's talking to me and shit,
Yeah.
and he's
He
terrifying.
was right.
Yeah, and then when he like saw him at the party, he's like, fuck, and then just passed out.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
The nightmare that haunted your dreams just shows
Yeah.
up covered in blood in the middle of your birthday party. Yeah.
Can I just say, by the way, too, that, like, that is my worst fear, is seeing something like that, because I really don't believe in this, like, the supernatural at all. Maybe it's just because I just have not had any real experiences. As a kid, I used to make up ghost stories because I feel like everyone did. But like, if I were to see something like that, my first thought wouldn't be, and I might have brought this up on the podcast, like, oh, I've seen a ghost. It would be, I'm losing my mind. Like,
right.
I'm seeing things that aren't really there. I can no longer question like my perception of the world around, or I can no longer trust my perception of the world around me, which to me is the most valuable thing that I possess. And it's my worst fear.
It's not
like
the fact
that I would see something like that.
It's not the fact that you're seeing something that defies reality. It's the fact that
Yeah.
you're seeing something that means that your interpretation of reality is no longer valid because that can't
Yep.
be real.
Exactly. So that would fuck with me so goddamn hard. Like, I very much empathize with that kid because goddamn, and there's no way that he would have ever been able to get a rational explanation if he hadn't come out of the basement to kill everyone. But
Yeah.
so I guess small
There's
miracles.
no reason to be scared. See, it's not a ghost.
was
It's just
a
a murderer.
I think there's a story on Reddit that is from like a No Sleep or something about like how they would hear footsteps in the attic or something, and they were like, it's a ghost, and then one day like they went up there and just found a person living there.
Yeah.
Which didn't make things less scary.
Yeah, no, that's fucking terrifying. If
Yeah.
someone told me, oh yeah, by the way, there was a secret hole in your basement that a man has been living in for like 5 years, and then he killed your family. Fuck.
Yeah, wouldn't fix anything. I mean, it would allay my, once again, biggest fear that my perception of reality is no longer valid, but it wouldn't allay my fear that like there are crazy people out there that are like stalking me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What if the real monsters were just people?
Hey, I mean that those horror movies have always been the scarier ones to
Yes.
me. Like when they're just
Like,
people.
Like, this isn't
killing
real,
people.
but it could be.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't take a stretch of the imagination. It can just be a story set in our universe. So, there you go. Parasite, 9 out of 10.
Go watch it.
Yeah, that
You heard it here first.
was a really good 9 out of 10 movie.
What's a 10 out of 10 movie for you? Because, like, I've seen a bunch of movies that I would call 9 out of 10s, and Parasite's definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. But I don't know if I've ever seen what I would consider a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I don't...
You want my list of 10 out of 10s? Because I got them.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you keep the list.
Yep. I keep them all. Do you actually want them? Because I can quickly fly through them.
I mean, hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it.
The Dark Knight, Saving Private Ryan, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Snatch, The Shawshank Redemption, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Inception, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Django Unchained, Gran Torino, The Hurt Locker, Fight Club, Interstellar, Seven Psychopaths, Captain America Winter Soldier, The Matrix, Grand Budapest Hotel, The Prestige.
I was waiting
No,
for
Spider-Man
the
Into the
and.
Spider-Verse.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was in there with a bunch of TV shows.
I
can also have my TV shows that are 10.
All very
Veep, Chernobyl, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Band of Brothers, Breaking Bad, Community, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and Atlanta.
all very different pieces of media.
You're forgetting Good Omens.
Fuck you.
I am not forgetting anything.
Ryan, I forgot to
This is an exhaustive list.
Ryan, I forgot to tell you that in the Apple original series Mythic Quest, there was a guy there who was just like a fucking exaggeration of like typical cliche gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's played by the guy who wrote Chernobyl.
Craig Mazin?
Yep.
Huh. I didn't know he acted.
I don't know if I would call what he did acting.
He still
It's more
doesn't.
like parody, but like yes, he
I mean, parody requires acting.
also fair.
I think that should about wrap it up as we're an hour and 45 minutes into the podcast.
And we shall wrap it up by once again thanking sensual Richard Nixon and Sucky Badger for supporting the Voluntary Viewing podcast. If you would like to do the same, feel free to go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/voluntary_viewing. and donate any amount of money that you feel comfortable. We greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of great reward tiers on there, and yeah, you are definitely getting a lot out of it outside of just our gratitude. If you have any questions for us, any business opportunities, etc., feel free to message us or leave a comment, depending on where you're listening to this, or send us an email, voluntaryviewing@gmail.com. Also be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at V2_podcast. I am Lucas the Writer, still a freelance writer, and you can find my stuff on my Twitter at Lucas the Writer. I have no idea what we're going to call this episode.
Well, first we need the clap sync.
Oh, good call. Thank you, Andrew.
Parasite cast. Yeah, everyone refresh your page quick.
Yeah.
Top right, I'm showing...
No, not top right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what we're always going on.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as any on the top, just not your clock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
18, 19, 20.
Yep.
20.
Yep.
Let's do it at 30.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, a Parasite review, Parasite cast, whatever Parasite would probably be the best SEO friendly. And we care about that because we're sellouts.
Yeah.
Does that make us sellouts?
Wanting to be successful? Yes.